Hi, everyone, and welcome back. Tom Slivick with Dick Glock. How you doing, Dick?
Hey, good, Tom.
Good.
Good to see you.
Superintendent of ACUSD.
Yes, sir.
And it's good to see you, too.
It's good to be seen.
So were you doing pretty well after your bypass surgeries?
Yes. I had a 6-way bypass on Christmas Day. So
wow.
Probably actually the best Christmas present I ever had. It was an unexpected one, but nonetheless one that's needed. So my recuperation's going well, and they get you up on medication, and now I've got to go through the deceleration and get off certain medications as my heart gets stronger. So, but everything's going well. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tom.
Okay, that's good. And from what I understand, from a lot of people, you feel way better.
More regularly. Do all those things that we hear from health experts.
But you can still take on that the school fine, huh?
Well, you work with everybody on it. It's a cooperative effort. It's not one person. So.
Okay, yeah, it certainly isn't one person down there. We've got 5, what are they called?
Trustees.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. 5 trustees. And of course, right now, you and the 5 trustees, and you're probably getting other help as well, are searching for a legal team.
Yes.
Right? Why don't you tell us about that? What's the job of the legal team at the
ACUSD? It's to provide legal advice. As you know, more consultants and legal advice is a necessary part of doing business, in that we live in a litigious world.
Right.
And so I think we would be negligent if we didn't try to have as good a legal advice as is reasonable. By the same token, we're always looking to reduce costs, and if we can support the classroom as opposed to getting a legal opinion, we'd like to do that. But nonetheless, we sent out requests for proposal to about 12 firms. We got 8 proposals back, and the governing board at a previous meeting narrowed that down to 3 firms. And last night, it's interesting, we just had a board meeting, so I can report a little bit about what went on then. We decided that on July 12th, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning, we would interview the 3 firms, give each one about an hour and for presentation, but also our questions. So we haven't interviewed legal firms since I've been here. We kept the same ones that were here when I got here, and the governing board felt like it's time to review our status.
Okay, so, and these firms, I believe in the story we reported on last week, are known to some, or collectively to the school and the superintendents and some of the administrators.
Right,
correct?
Right. That's
so they're not total unknowns.
No, not at all. I think any firm that would rise to the top is somebody we've heard at a conference or CSBA, at AXA, at some sort of meeting where you get an impression of the firm. And of course, who you interview isn't always who you work with on a day-to-day basis. So we'll be interested in that too. So
I would say a lot of times the public probably has no idea of what the legal firm might be doing, because it's in a situation where we're not supposed to have any knowledge of it. I don't know if I'm saying that exactly right, but it's
there's
closed doors. It's because of
there's a lot of confidentiality, right? Exactly,
things like that.
Right. There's personnel laws that come into effect in confidentiality, but the governing board, as the elected officials, the elected arm of the community, does have access, and of course those advisements very often take place in closed session, which are also confidential. So, you have to, the community has to trust that we'd operate that like it was our business. like your business here. Like if if you spend $1 on legal fees, that's too much, but you're trapped. Like I say, we live in a legal environment, and so we try to have the best environment or the best advice at the best cost.
Now, the attorneys, or one attorneys, or I'm not sure how many attorneys you get when you get the firm or whatever, are they at the school board meetings advising the board as well on what's happening there?
You know, at the county meetings, the County Board of Supervisors does have the county attorney. And we've had boards who've said, you know, we should have somebody at our meetings. We haven't. It would be an additional cost, of course, and I don't think any actions we've taken have ever, in 4 years, have come under scrutiny in terms of did we post an action properly, that sort of thing. And even if it did, all you have to do is come back and agendize it properly if you don't get it. So I don't, for school districts, and big districts do have an attorney present. I think for us, we can find out the next day if we're going down a certain path, is that right or not right. Most of the things we do, we have a little bit of thinking time before we have to take an action to address something. So
you usually don't give direction during a board meeting where you think you would require some legal advice in that way, or it could be adjusted later, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Typically, we do not. We've had, and I can't remember exactly what the issues were, but we've had a couple situations where we've asked a board member or a attorney to be there. When we were working with Gold Rush, we had an attorney there to deal with the land that we were going to be given. So there are exceptions to that, but for the most part, we don't have attorneys at the meeting.
Okay, so about how long do you think the process will continue?
Well, it'll be over, I think. At least we're going to know pretty much where we are on July 12th.
Okay.
And that process will take 3 or 4 hours. The board probably will have a discussion, and they may postpone that till the second meeting in July. Or they may make a decision that day.
Okay, so we have about 1 minute left, and maybe I'll just use it to ask you to possibly come back and talk to us about the ACUSD and it's declaring itself a basic aid school system, and what that means, and why that is.
Sure.
So maybe shed some light on it, because it's a very complicated issue, isn't it?
We don't do, it is complicated.
Maybe your attorneys tell you to do that.
Yeah, no, we don't declare anything. It's a funding formula question, but regardless, sure, I can absolutely come back.
Okay, well, glad to have you come back and talk about that. And thanks for staying with us, and there's more news on the other side of the break. Thanks, Dick.
Sure. You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.